Hi everyone, this is Ellie. I'm part of our customer success team here at NuORDER, and I'm hosting today's Wednesday webinar all around how to use NuORDER as a prospecting tool. Everybody knows that NuORDER is a great B2B order taking tool, client outreach tool, for your existing clients. It's a merchandising tool. There's a lot of great aspects to it. But what a lot of people don't realize is that there are many ways and different embedded tools to help you prospect and generate leads, which lead to greater ROI. So we're going to cover a handful of topics today. Some of those are managing your marketplace profile. We're going to talk about how to search the marketplace for new accounts and also how to accept those marketplace leads that are inbound. And we'll look at hyperlinking your branded login page, which drives traffic, and how to send line sheets to prospective clients. So let's get started. So I'm here in our One Women's Wholesale portal, and the first thing I want to do before we go over some of the kind of more specific ways to outreach is I want to actually show you guys how to search the marketplace for new accounts. I'm sure some of you have been curious and you've looked here. It's actually a tab that exists in your navigation tray here on the left. So I'm going to first navigate to this icon here, find new accounts. And as a side note, I'm actually, I'm logged in as a brand user. So this is as if you, the admin or you, the sales rep, were navigating around your portal. You guys have access to this. It doesn't matter what level of user you are. Everyone has access to find new accounts. And this is new retailers and new buyers. So let me click on this. And you're going to be actually redirected to kind of like a little bit of a side door here. And this is, the marketplace. And again, this is your vantage point as a brand looking to prospect new retailers and buyers. So what you're going to see here is kind of a categorical filter on the side to get started. There's kind of a snapshot here for new retailers that have joined this week. And what you'll end up doing is actually filtering down to different criteria, and NuORDER actually returns results based on those criteria. So I'll actually do an example here using women's as my starting point. So that's the first filter that I'm applying, and it'll start to show you kind of a breadcrumb so you can actually see your steps. So within women's, I want to get more granular here. I can pick a bunch of different filters, but I'm just, for this example, going to say denim, because I want to get pretty specific. You could layer on a bunch of different filters as well, but I want to, remain pretty narrow here. And then I'll click next step. And in this next step, you're going to have to pick a location. So it can be a state, it can be a city. Again, this is just one more way to refine your results. So I'm going to pick Chicago. And now you can see that I actually have a results of 73 retailers so far. You can refine it further, but this is pretty good. So let's actually view the results and see what returns to us. So what's going to show up here is, it's kind of similar to your contacts tab in the portal, where it's all of these kind of contacts here. And you can just go through and choose, once you've kind of whittled it down. So I'm just going to choose Pure Thread as an example. And this is great. It's a little bit like, LinkedIn or similar kind of, e-com sites that have, that kind of connection, like that one-to-one connection. And what we're doing here is you as the brand, you are, reaching out to Pure Thread as the retailer and saying, let's do business, basically. So Pure Thread reaches out to NuORDER and says, we want a profile on this page. So they've actually provided us this info, and it's as much info as they, want to provide, but there's usually a description, buyer info, which is really valuable, right? Like who the head buyer maybe is or point of contact. And something else that I think is really important here is they'll provide us with associated brands. So you as the brand user or the brand admin, this is really helpful to see, do you want to either sit next to some of these brands in this retailer store, or, maybe it's a little bit of competition and you'd like to actually try to get some market share somewhere else and not necessarily sit directly next to your competitors, but this is always useful information. The other thing here on the right side is kind of all the stats about this retailer. So their telephone, sometimes they provide an address. More importantly, you've got their website and usually their email address. And then lastly is this connect to retailer button. So when you're in here and you're looking around, if you want to automatically add Jill as a buyer into your contacts tab, meaning your own portal, just make that connection immediately and say, click, yes, I'd like Jill as a buyer. You can do that here by just clicking connect to retailer, and then it will automatically populate in your contacts tab. So I think that's pretty slick. And this is kind of it's a one-step thing. You don't have to do any kind of follow-up. So that's the first way to kind of really prospect and start to discover new retailers and new buyers that you aren't already doing business with. One other kind of note around, outreaching the leads and then, kind of accepting those leads. So this is, one vantage point of you going into the marketplace and looking for new accounts. Buyers actually have, a similar tool. It's just kind of on the other side of the portal where they can search brands and they would get the same kind of list of different brands, and they can outreach the brands to say, hey, I'd like to do business with you. We don't already do business together. That's kind of the second, option for accepting leads, is that a buyer can request to connect with you, just like you can connect with a buyer. But the caveat here is that you must actually add them to your contacts. So whereas, in this view, you guys are reaching out and you can automatically just add them to your contact list. If a buyer outreaches to you, you still have to approve that. So we put a little bit of a backstop in there. So you have to approve it, and then you have to actually go into your wholesale tab and navigate to your contacts section and add the new buyers here, just like you would any other new buyer. So that's the caveat there. So that's the marketplace. And again, just as a reminder, it's down here, find new accounts. And I want to actually kind of close the loop on the buyers, being able to outreach the brands, because you guys have a little bit of control over your own profile, similar to what I was showing you with Pure Thread, that example of their profile in the marketplace. You also have a marketplace profile. And, this is an admin function. So if you are a sales rep and you have an admin your company that can take care of this, definitely reach out to them. But I'll show you where that exists. So that's kind of our second big point, is how to manage your marketplace profile. So I'm going to navigate to admin. One thing to note here is that if, as a brand or as a business, you guys want to activate your marketplace profile so that buyers can find you, it's actually a flip of a switch that we at NuORDER have to turn on for you. So this button down here in admin, it actually only exists once we've enabled this marketplace profile. So if you don't see this button here, just send an email to heroes at NuORDER.com and they can actually set this up for you. It's a pretty quick fix. So I'm back here in admin. I'm scrolling all the way down. It's pretty close to the bottom here. And once this is enabled, this little button here, just click on Manage Marketplace Profile. And here's where, a lot of brands, their creative teams will usually take care of this maybe, or maybe their merch teams, somebody that's kind of in charge of, or PR and marketing, somebody that's kind of in charge of that kind of creative or, kind of public relations maybe aspect of the business, because there's all kind of collateral and things you can enter here. So you'd start with the brand bio, and similar to the Pure Thread example that we saw, you guys will have a chance to put in your own bio here. So women's wholesale. So you'd start typing whatever you want. You can put your email address in here as well. And now this can be an info at, or, a general sales email. It doesn't matter. But the important thing is to actually include an email so that somebody can outreach you. And then you'll want to obviously publish this, the bio and the whole profile. In addition to the bio and the email address, there's all these categories here. If I scroll down, I'm just going to show you all these. And these are actually similar to how we search retailers. These are the criteria that you as a brand will pop up underneath when people search for you. So if you are a denim brand, or if you are an outdoor brand, or eyewear brand. You want to pick whatever applies to you categorically within different subcategories here, and that will ensure that during search you guys will come up in the actual search results. Again, there's more here under sports and outdoors, for example, golf, there's kids, children's accessories, so you get the point here. So you can pick as many filters as you want to be involved with. And then down here, you've got, again, similar to the buyer profile, you have your own place to put your price point range. Let's say, you're between $200 and $400, what trade shows you're at. And again, these are drop downs. So, there's everything, pretty much everything under the sun is in here. And then this is where it gets a little creative. You can actually load assets like a logo, and then your actual imagery. If you have some kind of creative collateral, whether that's similar to the logo or the images on your branded login page, or if you just have some nice high-res kind of editorial images, this is really kind of putting your best foot forward in that profile. So you just drag and drop, very similar to how everything else in NuORDER works with regard to creative collateral. You drag and drop the files here. We support up to 5. And then, of course, you don't forget to save at the bottom. And that's how you set up your marketplace profile. And again, it's similar to how the buyers are able, or the retailers are able to set up their own profile as well. Okay, so the last couple of things I want to talk about here in terms of, getting leads and kind of generating, drumming up some more business. There are a couple things, and they're really important. The first thing is your branded login page. So let me just navigate here. So everybody knows that this exists. When you get your portal, built out with NuORDER, everybody gets this branded login page, and you guys actually control the imagery here, as you know. But what is a great traffic driver here is to actually, hyperlink or embed this URL into other collateral. And the reason this matters is we give you a branded URL. So this example, obviously we're in a demo site, but this example is app.nuorder.com/women's wholesale. So if it's your company, whatever your company name is, it would be /brand name. And again, the reason that matters is it's your brand. It's directing your buyers and your prospective buyers and your leads, remember, to this login page. And for leads, for people you don't do business with, you're probably thinking, okay, well, if they don't have a login, what are they going to do? There's 2 different buttons that, as a brand, you guys can decide to activate. But there's 2 different buttons that a lead or a prospect can actually access once they've landed on this, this URL. And one of them is contact a sales rep. And when you actually open this, it doesn't matter if you are already a buyer or not registered. Anybody can see this info. You guys can actually reach out, or excuse me, your prospect can reach out and say, hey, Allison, I'd like to do business with you. Let me just shoot you a quick email or, phone you. So that's one way. The other way is actually to request access here. So me, again, as a prospect, I'm a buyer, but I'm not a buyer registered with you. I'm going to fill out all this info. I'm going to say my name, my email, some of the brands that I stock as a retailer, and then I'm actually going to send a request. So again, using that same LinkedIn example, this is very similar to sending that, kind of LinkedIn, like, let's connect. It's the same concept. So this branded URL, I have a lot of clients that actually embed this in other collateral that they share out to, not only current clients, but prospective, right? You want to put it in a catalog, or you want to send it maybe with a mass blast to people that you've seen at trade shows or market appointments that are, new leads. You can pretty much embed this anywhere. All right, and so the last kind of use case that I want to go over today around generating leads and kind of drumming up that business is how to send line sheets to prospects using our campaigns tool. So I'm actually I was in version 3, which is this wholesale platform here, but I'm going to quickly navigate over to our version 4 demo site just to show you this example, because it's something that I think is a great tool, and it's something that we at NuORDER are actually eventually building on, this idea of leads and prospecting. So I'm here in version 4 in this demo, and it's the same navigation tray out here. But what I actually want to do is I'm going to navigate to my line sheets section. And here in line sheets, you remember these are similar to version 3. Here's just my cover sheet. I'm going to quickly click into this line sheet. And let's say I'm working along, and you can send this, of course, to existing clients. But the great thing about campaigns here in NuORDER is that you can actually send this to new leads that are not currently registered with your portal. And so the way to do that, let me just open this up again. I'm going to click send. The way to do that is actually to disable this easy order feature. And for most of you that know what easy order is that live link that you can send to an already registered buyer, and it doesn't force them to log in, and they can place an order. But that requires a buyer to be registered with you guys. So to disable this, just simply toggle this off, and now you've actually got open CC fields here to actually enter as many emails as you want for new buyers or new retailers, right? You met somebody at Project Vegas, or you met somebody at Outdoor Retailer, and you really want to follow up with them, and you want to send them a catalog or a line sheet, right? This is the key here, is that you are sending something. You're not just sending them an email, you're actually sending them something to look at. And I'll show you actually what that output looks like, because it's really great, and hopefully it's a way to get them to actually register with you and start placing their orders through NuORDER. So for this example, I'm in my SURF 2017 line sheet. Let's say I met somebody at a trade show, and they're not registered with me. I'm going to, enter something in the subject. Great to see you at Agenda Trade Show. And then text here, message. So, you put in your message, great to see you. You put in, your subject header as well. And here is where you can definitely save this, but here's where I just go ahead and send this. And I'll show you what the output looks like. So it'll tell you once it's sent. And again, this is to a non-NuORDER contact. So let me actually navigate to the output here. So here's the, this is actually an example I just ran. Here's actually what your non-registered, buyer will see. They're not a buyer with NuORDER yet. They receive this great line sheet. It's going to have that wonderful high-res cover image that's on your line sheet. And then it's just going to give them a little snippet of, the first few items that are in that line sheet. They can click on View More Products. And then here's, they actually have options to download this as a PDF or as an Excel sheet. And again, why does this matter? They're not registered with you yet. They're much more likely to say, hey, let's do business together. I really want to place an order. I saw this line sheet, we met in person, let's do business. So that's the way to actually send this catalog or this line sheet to, a non-existing client. So let me just navigate to what this line sheet looks like once you've sent it to your new lead or your new prospect. So here's my SURF line sheet. I actually sent this with a slightly different text earlier. But this is what your potential prospect will see from you. So it'll be your name via NuORDER. It'll have this great, high-res image that's from your line sheet here. And then what's really nice is it's got a kind of a snapshot of some items that are inside of the line sheet. And this is really what's hopefully going to drive that traffic back to you. And your prospect or your lead will say, hey, sign me up. Let's do business together. I'd like to place an order. The additional kind of benefit here of sending that line sheet, and again, you're not sending it as an easy order or as that live link, but you are sending it as a book or a line sheet, is that you've got the options of PDF download and Excel download. So that's what that output looks like. Let me actually switch back to the portal now. So those are the main ways to engage your prospects and your leads by using kind of all the different embedded tools within NuORDER. Just to recap, what we covered was how to send a line sheet to a non-NuORDER client, a potential buyer or potential account, how to embed your URL and kind of drive that traffic to your portal, and then how to accept marketplace leads, manage your marketplace profile, and then you yourself as the brand, how to find those new accounts and how to drum up that business. So this concludes today's Wednesday webinar, all about leads and prospecting in NuORDER to generate and drive ROI. Thank you.